Folks, welcome back, TGIF, but we're not watching Step by Step. We're not watching Family Matters. We're not watching, but we do have a full house. It is UB Men's Hoops game night. I'm Maniac here, joined by our roundtable of UB experts. We got Ty B, we got Mike B, we got Kevin M. Gents, it feels like we haven't played a game in a fortnight, but UB Bulls basketball, it's back on a Friday night.
You love to see it. I mean, if you're looking for big time college basketball in the MAC, you got it here at this matchup. Lot of good offensive ball being played here. UB's been playing pretty good defensively as of late, but you're talking about some programs here that should be at the top of the MAC when this is all said and done, and a Toledo team looking to prove that returning some players is a pretty big deal, as well as recruiting well. So we'll see how they look. But UB's kind of been the kryptonite to Toledo, in the last couple of years. So we'll see if they have what it takes to get through it. But they got a couple of nice-looking players to go with Marion Jackson and Ryan Rollins, a freshman that they seem to hit the jackpot on, and JT Shamoudi, a forward, junior forward that they really like. So it's good names in there with Jackson, Littleson, Rollins, Shamoudi, and Milner Jr. So it's a pretty deep roster, but as we all know who have ever watched Toledo, they don't play a ton of defense.
No, they don't. They score a ton. Like you said, UB, though, is the top scoring team in MAC play with 82 points per game. Toledo's right there with 80. But UB has been dominating Toledo over the past few years, a 5-game win streak over Toledo. In the last two that they played at Alumni Arena, the Bulls averaged 107 points, and they've averaged 92 over the last 5 overall. I'd love the Bulls to put up a lot of points in this one, and you've seen that defense coming into form. If they can figure that out, they can make a real big run here going into Cleveland, Mike.
Yeah, and right now, honestly, I'm not even worried about Toledo. I'm more worried about how UB is playing as a team heading into this stretch run where they're going to have 6 games in 14 days. This game, while it's important in the standings, it's going to be tough for UB to catch anybody that's really ahead of them outside of Ohio. So just focus on yourselves, getting your game going, and that's all I really care about at this point in time.
Speaking of caring about at this time, I mean, playing a first-place team on a Friday night, it doesn't get better than that for a late February UB matchup. Let's go around the horn here. Ty B, Kev, Mike, who's the one Bull you're focusing on tonight for this big matchup?
Yeah, I've talked about Javon Graves, I think, a bunch, like wanting to get him going for this stretch. I think that's got to be the continued thing. He's been playing an all-around game, which is awesome. But if you can get him to have, those 1 or 2 games where he really catches fire, then he can, continue that. He knows he has that right there in his back pocket if he needs to do it come clutch time in Cleveland. And you want, your senior leader to feel that confidence going in there. I really want to see a nice game here out of Javon, and the way the whole team's been playing, they've all been getting a ton of great looks. So it could go any way, but get Javon shooting well.
Yeah, I mean, Javon's obviously a good one to go with. I need to see a lot out of my guy, Ronaldo Segu. I need to see him leading the point, leading the charge, getting that energy going. He brings the energy more than anyone on the roster. So I need to see him getting it going. Keep that shooting percentage in check because it tends to get away from him at times. But I need to see Segu hit that 3, score a lot of points, dish the ball, get it down low. We know Toledo's not playing a lot of defense, so I need to see him take charge and show that he's one of the best point guards in the MAC.
The obvious answer is Javon Graves, but I'm going to go with Josh Mballa just because he brings something to UB that no one else on the team really does. He brings a big man in the post who can have a threat of scoring, and also he's a rim protector. The guy gets boards and he makes plays down low. And I think when you get to March Madness, you're going to need that to really step up in order to make a run in the MAC tournament. So he's definitely a guy I want to see how he matches up against Toledo tonight.
Most definitely. UB averaging over 5 more rebounds per game than the Toledo Rockets. That could be 5 more possessions in what could be a big game. Vegas has UB as a narrow 2-point favorite. Over-under set at 162, 163, depending on where you get it. Obviously, both these teams averaging 80-plus per game. Gents, we are just a couple of minutes here from tip-off. I mean, UB Bulls, they haven't played much. I mean, geez, they've got 1 game in the last 2 weeks, 4 or 5 games in the last month. Toledo, not much different with a couple of delays themselves. But Do you anticipate any potential rustiness, or I mean, do you think that this is a chance coming out playing the first place team in the MAC at home? Do you expect Jimmy Dub and these troops to be ready to go?
This is a game where you got to come out and make a statement, I think, more than anything. Like you've floundered away some late leads this season. You've only had one game where you've won in single digits out of all your wins this year. Every other game was by over 10 points. You're averaging over 20 point or 23, 24 point margin over this 3-game win streak. I think the Bulls here figured things out, and they understand the game they're trying to play. They see that putting in that effort defensively is opening up and creating things more on the offensive side. It allows them to get out in transition and get to the rim quickly. And that makes for easy baskets for everybody, high percentage chances. And Kev, if they're able to do that, they're going to be in a great position tonight in this game.
Yeah, a couple things you need to note. UB is 0-6 against team with a winning record this season, so they need to get over that hump. It seemed to be rounding out, really being able to take care of business against those lower-end opponents, which we like to see. We don't want to see those lapses like we saw last year against the Northern Illinois of the world, Miami Ohio's of the world. They've been getting through that bumps, so that's great. They need to take the next step and beat a team that is over 500, and they're struggling to do so. And they are not, like you mentioned, they are not playing good down the stretch in 1-possession or 2-possession games. Like you said, their closest win was 9 points. So in games that are decided by 6 or 7 or less, they have not won one this season. They need to get over that hump, but no better way to do it against a team that doesn't play particularly good defense. Good defensive teams have gotten the best of UB. The Kent States of the world who bang bodies, as I like to say Kent does. Those type of teams really cause some fits for UB as they get aggressive with them and really rebound well. We saw Bowling Green, not a good rebounding team, rebound particularly well against UB. So those are the things that you're looking for, a good rebounding game and to get ahead. And let's play good in the first 10 minutes, because when they do, it leads to good things. As we know, they play well in the second half. They just have not played good in the first half, in the first 10 minutes of games. And we do not want it to go to the last couple possessions, because they have historically struggled there right now. So we want to make sure they're taking care of business and they're scoring a lot. They're playing that good perimeter D. That's the key to this one, because we know Toledo likes to shoot.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, guys, I'm pumped for tonight. I have a gut feeling that we're going to see UB play very well. I can't really explain it, but you look at the last 3 games, UB has won by an average of 22 points per game. And a lot of people will always focus on the offense, but this UB defense has really added to its intensity in recent games. And I think that's been a big part of UB's success as well. I feel like they're getting easier baskets and they're getting more rhythm in their game. Kev, you mentioned the 0-6 against winning the top teams in the MAC. That definitely has to change. But like you said, this Toledo team, they have some vulnerabilities that have been exposed in recent weeks. And I think we're seeing a team that's finally falling a little bit back to earth while UB is starting its rise. So I think this is the perfect time for UB to take on Toledo despite not playing much as of late.
Most definitely taking care of business in more ways than one. We got UB coming up in just a couple of minutes here on ESPN2. It's always good when they get on the worldwide leader in sports. And speaking of worldwide sports, taking care of business, this game could be a close shave. UB only a 2-point favorite. So let's give a quick shout out to our sponsors over at Manscaped. Go to manscaped.com, use promo code TRAINWRECK for 20% off and free shipping. All kinds of great products to make sure you're taken care of as spring begins to sprung here in Western New York. So speaking of that, let's go reverse order now. Let's get the predictions here. UB Toledo, starting with Bunt. Bunt, do the Bulls pull this one off here at Alumni Arena?
I'm going to go with UB today. This is going to be a high-scoring game. I have no clue what the total is, but I'm going to go 93-90. UB pulls out the win.
Wow.
Wow, that's a big number. I've been pretty good at predicting UB score. I think I'm right. Their total scored right twice. I've missed the opponent a couple times, but I think UB hits 88, and I like Toledo for 80. I do think they'll score their points. They'll get their points total. They do play good offense. They have really good sets. I don't think you'll see a lockdown defensive game just because of how good Toledo is offensively. But I do think that the UB will get to their total. And just they were 13-1 before going in a little mini 1-2 stretch for Toledo. They were getting talked about as one of the top mid-major programs in the country. I thought that was a little bit too high praise for not doing anything lately in the MAC. But being 13-1 is a pretty good record, and getting, a few votes, getting recognized there in the top 40 of the country was pretty interesting. So we'll see what Toledo we get, but they historically struggle in UV, especially at Alumni Arena.
Oh yeah, and the one thing you're going to have to do in this game, the key to this game is stopping Toledo's 3-point shot. They're top 3 in the nation in 3-point percentage at 47.9, and 5th in the nation at 3.52. That's Spencer Littleson. My bad, Littleson. And then this team, though, like they're lights out. Marion Jackson as well. Just coming off of a triple double in that win over Ball State, but UB here. They're one of the best teams actually defending behind the arc. They hold teams at just 27.2%, the 3-point percent. So I think right here, this is where the Bulls can maybe step up. You're not going to hold them to 27%, but if you keep them off that average, you hold them to 33%. I think you can get this win and pull it out 85-77.
Folks, they are incredible. They are undeniable, but this expertise from our panel here on this Bullet Points pregame show, undeniable. I think the UB Bulls get it done 85-77 here at Alumni Arena. Make sure you're checking out Trainwreck Sports for all the best Bulls coverage. Nobody does it like us. And, of course, following along at Bullet Point 716. Give the crew the follows, of course, at Mike_Bunt, at Kevin Massari, at Ty Buffalo. Let's do it. Let's get these horns up, and let's get a big Friday night dub. ESPN2, here we come. The Stampede begins. Let's go, Bulls.
Ooh.